Creatives, Miss Niki here from Studio CIA, and in this video tutorial I'm going to show you an intuitive art journaling technique that I've come up with that I absolutely love how zen and meditative it is and how low stress. So I'm using a Canson hard covered 9x12 sketchbook with multimedia paper in there. Definitely want some strong paper. The other thing you need is some extra paint left over from kids' projects or just some paint. Colors don't matter. You're going to just randomly open up your book and find a page. This one, obviously, I've already started. And we're just going to fill in the page however you feel like it. This is just step one, and it doesn't matter. This is what creates the intuitiveness, because depending on what happens, where the world takes us, we will design different things out of this. So I'm just going to randomly start painting wherever I want. There are no rules to this part, and if you don't like it, it's acrylic. We're just going to cover it up. I have also used a lot of watercolor in my books because we often in my classes will use liquid watercolor, and so I'll end up with extra of that. So anything I have extra that I don't want wasted, I use in my sketchbook. Just play. This is like going back to kindergarten where the teacher gave you paint and a brush and said, just make something. And the cool thing is, again, we're not aiming to make anything specific. We're just putting color on the page and enjoying the process of not overthinking it. That's for a different day. You can do shapes, you can just do solid. Again, this is about creating and playing with color again, as if you were a child. Getting excited that somebody let you get paint out and they aren't watching over your shoulder the whole time. Though for me, somebody probably should still be watching over my shoulder. I'm a painter who ends up with paint all over myself no matter what I do. But I think that just means I'm enjoying it more, right? You can mix your colors together to make new colors. The only color I will typically add to the palette if, I've got leftover is sometimes some white. White just gives everything a good variant of color and texture and pulls things together, in my opinion. And a lot of times colors are a little bit transparent, like yellows. And so the white will give it a little bit more oomph. Play with moving your brush in different directions. Again, we're not aiming to make anything look like anything specific at this point. We're just playing. I own multiple sketchbooks and I have 3 usually going at a time because I'm not super patient, number one. Being ADHD, I definitely want instant gratification. So when I paint one of these and it's drying, I can go to the other sketchbook and do something else if I have time. Or if I have lots of paint, then I can do, 2 pages worth at a time with that paint and just let it dry until the next time I have time to explore. Because this step here is usually one that I will do in a hurry. I don't have a lot of time between my classes, but I want to use up that paint. If I don't have any time, I have added saran wrap over the top, the peel and stick, and just left it. And usually it keeps it nice and moist still so I can use it in an hour or two later and come over here for a little bit and add some more details to this page. Again, I'm just intuitively choosing what to add and where. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just like, oh, I'll add some rainbows along the outside edge of this circle because I don't like how the paint is coming out and it's not a smooth line. What can I do to cover that up? I can add scallops or rainbows along the edge. Process is really just to get some color down to create the intuitiveness that we'll do in the next step and to use up that extra paint that you've got. If you don't have extra paint, then it's just to have fun and add color. Make whatever color you want. And the cool thing about this technique is if you ever like finish a page and you're like, I hate it, it's paint. You're just gonna paint over it again. You don't have to like stress about it. You're like, oh, that doesn't feel like it goes with my book. I just paint over the top of it. And that has happened. But usually this is one of those things you just keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And then you decide, oh, this one's ready to finalize or to play with more. And it comes together. I feel like every painting, every craft has an ugly duckling phase. It's like those tween years of our bangs growing out and our teeth starting to fit our face and acne and all the things. Like it's the same. Paintings have the same problem. I like the fun of the mess to see where it will take you. Sometimes it takes you to really creative places. But again, that part is for another day. I will typically do this part where I'm just using my paint up, filling in gaps in one setting, and then on a different day when I'm looking for something to zen out, that's when I'll do the next step of this process. I don't usually leave any white on my pages. If you're doing this whole process in one setting, you can grab a heat gun or a hair dryer and dry this up. I do recommend putting the plastic wrap, the press and seal between the pages. It comes apart and it keeps the pages from sticking together as they're still a little bit tacky. They've saved me a lot. And you can reuse them over and over again. I have taken this process with me on trips. It went to Italy with me. It went to Tennessee when I visited there, all these different places. And the way that it helped is when I had my press and seal. That made it doable. Italy, I did not take any actual paints with me. I just took my paint pens and my pages of paint. So I love me some good Posca pens, and I will have varying different thicknesses and colors. And I go into here and I just start to add additional doodles. I And that is one intuitive page. So again, it's just following the shapes that are there, doodling and adding color where it seems fun. And then my last step is usually to go through and find a quote. If you look back at one of my earlier pages, I think I have any in this book. Here I've got different quotes like, "You cannot compete with me. I want you to win too." Or, "I hope beautiful things happen to you. And when they do, I hope you can believe you are worthy of every single one of them." So I like to find little quotes to add to each picture. "Overthinking kills your happiness," as a way to help encourage myself to enjoy the process, have fun, and when I go back and look through the book again, I know that I'm worthy and that my art is worthy, and just feels good. I hope you enjoyed that process and check back for more soon.